Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture is My Life. Now, this episode is going to be a bit different. Why? Because I had an interesting conversation with a recent patient of mine. And this person, I'm not even going to reveal a gender, nothing. I don't even want to come close to revealing identity. But this person did recommend that I do a podcast on this because she felt it would be a great. Oh, did I just screw up? Okay. I'll stick with the she since it slipped out. But she did suggest that I do a podcast discussing this particular topic because she felt it would be of benefit to so many individuals. And that is, what can your fart actually reveal about your health? And many individuals struggle with this issue, because they'll have like these farts that are just horrible. They smell terrible, or it's incessant, or there's no texture to it. And it just goes on and on. But some individuals will ask themselves, why am I farting a lot? Why does it smell like this? Why is there it's very abrasive, or there's just absolutely no texture involved? So I agreed with this patient, I'll do a podcast. And here I am, I'm doing it now. But let's just start off with what you're eating. You have individuals, and I'll start with the basics. Individuals that eat a lot of beans, which are good for you, cabbage, which are good for you, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, bran. These foods are good for you because it contains lots of fiber. And fiber, as we know, keeps your digestive system moving. It helps regulate your blood sugar and cholesterol levels, and it keeps a person's weight to where it should be. But just as with yin and yang and other things, there's two sides to everything. And in some cases, there are individuals that'll have to deal with the side effect of farting a lot. Okay. Why is that? It's because their stomach and basically their small intestines can't absorb some of the carbohydrates that are in those healthy foods that you're eating, such as, again, beans and broccoli. Because beans and broccoli are rich in a carbohydrate that's called raffinose. So by the time this carbohydrate reaches a person's colon, there's a particular type of bacteria that inhibits that part of your digestive tract. It feeds on it, and it produces gas as a byproduct. So that's what's going on every time you eat cabbage and beans. And I don't want to say stop eating that. I love broccoli myself. Does it have that side effect on me? No. But I'm not going to say stop eating broccoli or cauliflower or Brussels sprouts or cabbage or beans. But just sort of, if you can, timing is important. Because if you know you're going to go out shortly afterwards or whatever, being in a large crowd, then you may want to reconsider. Now, another something that a fart is revealing about your health is you may be eating your food too fast. Okay? And inhalation can be part of the problem. Why? Because many individuals are unaware that every time you swallow, or rather, let me put it to you this way. You swallow air every time you eat and drink. So the faster you're eating and drinking, the more air you're swallowing. And most times you'll burp, and that'll get that air out of your belly or your middle jowl. But then sometimes it'll remain, or will not come out, and it'll find itself these air pockets in your lower digestive tract. And you know where it's going to come out after that. Even when you're chewing gum. Even when you're chewing gum. Even when you're sucking on candy or drinking through a straw. That plays a part as well. Okay? Plays a huge part. So it's good to be aware of that. Now, another thing that farts are revealing about your health is an imbalance in your gut bacteria. And here we go. That's an imbalance of yin and yang, because when it's out of balance, there's going to be problems. There's going to be issues. And we're back to the middle jowl and the importance of the middle jowl. And when the gut bacteria is not in balance, one of the side effects or the fallouts from that is these terrible smelling farts. Because you have to understand, your digestive tract is just this long tube. That's muscular. And it works its way from the starting point, when you put something in your mouth, to the end point, to where you're moving your bowels in the bathroom. And you see, it's a small intestine area. When the foods that you eat reach that area, that's where the strongest contractions take place. And why is that? Because that, in order to sweep the food into the colon, which is your large intestine. But now, every now and then, certain medications you take or infections you may be faced with, certain diseases or conditions such as, let's say, diabetes or some type of neuromuscular condition, or even complications from surgery, can interfere with the small intestine clearing out these food products and pushing it into the large intestine. And it therefore allows for the bacteria to really become aggressive in the small intestine and overgrow. And when that happens, gas is produced as a result. Gas is produced as a result. Okay? So it's also important that you're aware of that as well. Gut bacteria is important. Now, another can be, farts can indicate that you have irritable bowel syndrome. And if you suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, you need to be seeing an acupuncturist right away. Because that's a chronic condition that affects a person's large intestine. And as a result, like if you have IBS or irritable bowel syndrome, it affects the coordination of muscle contractions that keep food moving from all the way from your stomach all the way to the rectum. And these contractions can be stronger or they can last longer, and it'll cause gas. It'll cause you to fart. It'll cause a lot of bloating and even diarrhea. Or it can even be weaker than normal, and it'll slow things down where you become constipated. My bad. But and then the nerves in your middle jowl can also become extra sensitive to the stretch and the distension that gas causes in a person's intestines. So you'll feel more pain and discomfort. So seeing an acupuncturist and undergoing Eastern nutrition consultation can provide a lot of relief. All right, so it's also important that you're aware of that as well. Another is what, oh my gosh, everyone that listens to Acupuncture is My Life podcast is well aware of. Drinking milk. Nope. No. I speak out against dairy products so much. Drinking milk. No. Eating yogurt, cheese. And yes, there's this little enzyme in dairy. It's called lactase. And it tends to be made in the small intestine. And it's responsible for breaking down lactose, which is a sugar that's found in milk or dairy. And it breaks it down into simpler form so that your body can absorb it. But guess what? When you're producing low levels of lactase, that means now lactose will slip into the colon in an undigested fashion where bacteria will break it down, and then here comes the farting. And then boom. What? Lactose intolerant. Now, if you've ever been told or realized that you're lactose intolerant, see an acupuncturist for an Eastern nutrition consultation. It'll change so much. Another, gluten sensitivity is another one. Because your body cannot digest that type of protein that's found in wheat or barley or rye. And if you have celiac disease, eating gluten usually triggers an immune response in your small intestine. And it's a reaction that can cause a breakdown in the lining of your intestines, and which will ultimately affect your small intestine's ability to absorb nutrients. And as a result, the damage can cause excess gas, it can cause weight loss, it can cause diarrhea, it can cause various nutritional deficiencies as well as other health problems. You should be seeing an acupuncturist, especially if you've been diagnosed with celiac disease. Why? Because health is wealth. The wealth isn't in the bank. It's not in an app on your phone. The wealth is not in a cryptocurrency account. And the wealth is definitely not in a safe in your room. The wealth is also not in your pocket, purse, or wallet. And guess where else the wealth is not? The wealth is not under the doghouse in the backyard. It's not in a shoebox in the closet, nor is it under your mattress. The wealth is in you. Now, guess what else these terrible farts could be saying about your health? It could be indicating that you're eating a lot of sugar. Fake sugar. Granulated cane sugar, if you want to use some type of sugar, and granulate sugar cane yourself. There are granulators out there. It's the best way to know what you're getting and putting in your body. But eating too much of this fake sugar that your system, your middle jowl cannot tolerate. Especially like sweeteners such as sorbitol or what's the other one? Xylitol, and there's one more, mannitol, yeah. Because these sugar alcohols tend to have like a laxative effect, causing gas and diarrhea and bloating. So it's important that you're aware of this. It's very important, because I know you like to put sugars in your teas and your coffees. This is why herbal tea is the best. No sugar. See an acupuncturist. Seriously. All right. Another is your anal sphincter. may be too tight. Okay? Because it's the tightness and speed at which gas passes through your anal sphincters. The anus, understand something, the anus has an internal as well as an external sphincter. So that the tightness of it determines the loudness, the volume of your fart. And if that particular fart smelled like a disgusting, like rotten egg, it's usually because you ate something that contains sulfur. Why? Because most of the gases in which we release tend not to have an odor. And it tends to be like a mixture of like nitrogen and carbon dioxide and oxygen and hydrogen and sometimes even methane. So when bacteria tends to break down foods that are high in sulfur, it tends to produce a tiny amount of sulfur compounds that give off that disgusting smell as a result. But you know, I'm glad I did this podcast because I'm sure it answered so many questions that so many people had and have about their fart. But my thing is, if you're questioning farting too much, see an acupuncturist right away and simply make acupuncture a part of your life, okay? Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?